So then you would have to give me a suggestion.
Oh, well, the title of the video is Kyren Williams set for a huge game versus the Texans. So I think we could start with that.
Okay, so if the suggestion is Kyren Williams, so if I said, can I get a suggestion? And you're like, Kyren Williams, wow, hold on, your video.
Oh boy. Well, we're starting things off. Downtown
Already?
Rams is back, and we're already dealing
Already a
with
tech issue?
tech issues. That's what we're dealing with right now. I don't know.
Now we're back.
Okay.
We got so lost in the sauce with improv that we didn't bother to make sure that all the tech. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see
All right,
you.
let's just get to the intro. Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it happen.
It's only a minute.
Yeah, you'll just cut that. Just cut that on the editing floor when we go to the streaming part. The live video we can always edit. I mean, we're on tape delay, right?
No.
Right, we're on tape delay. Oh, okay. But there's somebody censoring everything I say, right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm Alexis Kraft, joined here with Jake Ellenbogen. And guys, we are back. It's been a very, very long 4 months, Jake. It's May, early May, June, July, August. Yeah, almost 4 months that we've been on a hiatus. That is crazy.
It's going to be May. No, it was before then. You know, it's actually kind of crazy. I asked you this and you confirmed the last time we were live was day 3 of the NFL draft. And that to me is absolutely insane. So
that is insane.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Yep.
Come
welcome
one,
back,
come all.
Guys. We're excited to be here. I'm excited. Service. Everyone just bear with me.
You good? See, already tech issues, I swear.
You know what's so crazy about this is what I didn't mention to you when we were talking before the show. I was like, it wouldn't be Downtown Rams without having a crazy tech issue out of left field, right?
It's true.
Look at this. Look at it. I've got 5. Everything is plugged in and working for me, so it really is a ghost that haunts us and haunts the show.
You know, it really be like that sometimes.
It really be like that sometimes, but I'm so excited to be back. And Jake, let's talk about the hiatus really quick because we've been getting a lot of messages about it. And I was, I've been open about it was my fault that we took a hiatus, guys.
All her fault. No, I'm kidding.
It was all my fault. I had a lot that I was doing this summer performance-wise. I wasn't able to keep up with the show. I had a lot of really, really cool things going on. That we'll talk about. But Jake, I was like thinking on it and I was like, we should have started some fake feud. We should have started fake beef.
We could have done something like, I don't know, my favorite TV personality is Gordon Ramsay and yours is not. And then I could have told you that I had a superior, opinion. I don't know.
I think we just should have really gone for it and we should have started like rumors that there was some massive feud. And then when we made the announcement of like our Downtown Rams hiatus, it would have been like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Is the show ending? And we should have really milked it. Like we should have just really gone for it. And
we could have done that.
We should have. We totally missed an opportunity. We were just way too honest. We just came out and we're like, oh yeah, Alexis is performing all summer. And that was it. We really missed an opportunity to be dramatic with it.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. Well, let's not give it away.
Okay, fair enough.
But what I will say, for all the nice messages that everybody sent me over the summer and congratulating me on the shows I was doing and the TV pilot, I really, really appreciate it. I know that people were bummed about the Downtown Rams hiatus. Like I said, my fault. I take accountability for that. And I've missed you guys. And also Jake has been holding it down all summer, releasing content, killing it, crushing it per usual. So I know you guys were not without content, without Downtown Rams for sure. So keep killing it, Jake. And now we're also going to be killing it on the show, hopefully.
Yeah, no, we definitely will. And, you know, football's back, baby. It's literally happening right now. And if you're watching this, you're choosing, well, maybe you're choosing to do two things at once, but you're also choosing to bring us into your life, at least for today. So we do appreciate that. We'll be previewing the Rams and Texans game. And, you know, Alexis, I think we can do a little bit of a summary of the offseason. There was a certain player by the name of Kyren Williams who a lot of people were 50-50 on. Do you bring him back? Do you pay him? Do you not pay him? Do you call it? Some people wanted to trade him because, you know, Saquon Barkley's growing trees. Point being, flash, you know, forward, that's not even a thing, but fast forward. And all of a sudden, not only is Kyren Williams paid, he is a team captain for this Los Angeles Rams team. And yes, they have two other running backs that are very talented. But man, I'll tell you right now, very excited. I know you're very excited. Alexis was the first one to put me on to Kyren Williams. I remember watching his film when he was super young. I think he was a freshman.
Sophomore year, yeah.
Sophomore year, okay. So yeah, he's a sophomore, wasn't draft eligible, and you're like, yeah, just wait for this guy. And he's been doubted. He was doubted in the draft. He was doubted, you know, draft process. Now here he is, and he's rocking the C on his chest. So Alexis, I want to get your thoughts on everything that transpired and what your expectations are for this season, because I was hearing things where it's like, this guy's been working on his grip strength. This guy's been working on his explosion, speed training. I think we're going to see a different 23 this year for the better.
Yeah. Listen, I am not surprised at all with anything that happened in regards to Kyren Williams. This is exactly, you know, what I expected, what you expected. You know, he was really loved around the organization. They wanted him back. They wanted him back all off season. They wanted him back starting last season. So this is not at all something that is surprising. I know a lot of people who are not really big Kyren Williams fans tried to you know, say that the Rams were going to move on from him. They were going to trade him. They weren't going to re-sign him. That was never reality. It just wasn't. The Rams wanted him back, and they wanted him back badly since last season. So, you know, it's not surprising. I mean, you look at Kyren Williams, he was a leader for this offense all last season. I mean, he was the offense for a good part of the season, right? We had a lot of injuries at receiver. Kyren Williams was the only one who was scoring for a good period of time. I mean, he led the offense by double digits, or twice as much touchdowns, right? I think he was, he had 14, 16 touchdowns on the season. You know, for the Rams. So massive, massive component of this Rams offense. And I think he brought a lot to the run game that the Rams have been missing for a long time in the run game. And he isn't just a good runner. And Jake, you talk about this a lot. Very good in pass protection. He's pretty good, you know, at deceiving offenses. When he's out on the field, opposing defenses don't really know what you're going to do, because you can use Kyren Williams for a lot, right? So then the question becomes, how are they going to use him this season? Going into this season, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this as well, Jake. You know, I don't think the game plan for Kyren changes that much. I think they might try to use him a little bit more in the passing game potentially. But I don't really think the game plan changes. I think he stays a really important part of this offense, and you can kind of use him like a Swiss Army knife. I think the question becomes, who's going to be running back too? Because I think, you know, you lock in Kyren Williams, that's your guy. That's your running back one. You're not doing, you know, a trio of running backs. I mean, you're going to hopefully you use the other running backs more. I mean, the 90% workload you gave Kyren Williams last season, probably not sustainable for another season. If it is, his risk of injury obviously increases. I think the question becomes, how do you complement him? Because he's your guy. You paid him. You paid him running back one money. So the question now I'm looking at is, who's going to be running back too? I think obviously it's going to be Blake Corum. I think that's what the Rams see. But Hunter has been turning heads in practice, and he is a very different type of running back, in my opinion, than Williams and Corum. So I think that that's probably what the Rams are now trying to figure out. Who is going to get the next amount of reps behind Kyren, and what does that look like? How are you going to split the reps in the backfield?
Yeah, it's really something we're gonna find out, right? I think Kyren probably gets 80%. I was told 75 to 80% of the carries will be Kyren Williams this year. What I'm most interested about is not even the other two. It's what is the utilization in the passing game for a Kyren Williams? Because in my mind, and I think it's very simple, this is a player that hasn't really gotten the opportunity to work in the passing game. And I just feel as though that is one of the things, one of the key components that made that Rams offense really click. You go back to Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. I think they're missing that. I think they're missing, a tight end, and that's why they drafted Terrence Ferguson. Of course, they have Tyler Higbee back. And I think they were missing that true X receiver. And of course, they have that now in Devontae Adams. So two of those three things are guaranteed. Higbee's back. They have their X receiver in Adams. But what's not guaranteed is Kyren Williams' role in the passing game. And while I believe Blake Corum can be utilized there and he can thrive, I do want to see Kyren Williams get the opportunity. And Alexis, I'm going to bounce something off you. Jory Epstein, who's covered the Cowboys before, I don't know if she's still covering the Cowboys, but really kind of opened my eyes. I don't know if you saw my tweet about it, but really opened my eyes when she had Kyren Williams winning the Offensive Player of the Year. Now, I don't see that at all if he's not utilized in the passing game. So maybe she knows something that we don't currently know, but where are you on Kyren Williams, the passing game? And I think they can get this thing going to kind of neutralize that pass rush against the Texans. So where are you in the passing game for Kyren Williams?
I think they are going to try to utilize him more. I think that he had some trouble last season connecting with Stafford in the passing game. And if you go watch those, that was, to be honest, a lot of that was he was not hit in the hands properly.
Nah, he
and that
overthrew
happens.
him.
Yeah, that happens. That's kind of like, I think, a common thing with quarterbacks and running backs at times. It's those routes are a little weird. It's not a standard throw. You kind of miss the running back. But Kyren also had a lot of really good plays in the receiving game. He had a great touchdown, a couple great touchdowns. Receiving. Particularly the one against the 49ers, right? That's the one that we all think about, of the flip that he
So
almost
cool.
landed, but it was still cool. So I think that they are going to utilize Kyren Williams in the passing game a lot, particularly because now you've got a Devontae Adams out there, right? You've got Puka Nacua. They might be looking to switch up some targets in the passing game. So I think that they should utilize him. He has been very open about the fact that he would like to be in the slot. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Kyren has said on multiple occasions that he would like to be utilized more in the passing game. So we'll see. They certainly might start off the season trying it out. Maybe they move away from that. Maybe they bring in Blake Corum, has experience as well in the passing game, so they could try to get him involved there. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it shakes out the first few weeks in the running back position, because I think we've established at this point Kyren Williams' place in the run game is solidified. We know that he's running back one. I think he is, as you said, Jake, going to get 80% of the snaps to start the season. But I'm really curious what they do with Corum and Hunter. I really would like to see them utilized. I just don't think the 90% workload of Kyren Williams is sustainable. You have any player out on the field that much, your risk for injury, your risk for error just skyrockets. So yeah, I'm very curious. But I do think that they're probably going to stick with the hot hand from last season, Kyren, to start off the season and kind of slowly kind of try to figure out what's going on there. But that was a really long-winded way to answer. What do you think Kyren's going to do in the pass game? I am drinking tea, by the way, guys. We forgot to address. I've been very, very sick this week, as Jake knows. Jake talked to me on the phone yesterday and was very concerned about my voice, so I promised that I would.
It's much better, guys. I'll tell you that right now.
Better. It is. If you guys saw me on Twitter last night, remember what I said? I was drinking tea. I was taking Mucinex. I was like, Downtown Rams is happening. Come hell or high water. And look at this. Did my voice sound as lovely as ever, guys?
Hey, it's way better. I'll tell you that. No, I think it's funny. I'm sorry for the long-winded answer. Well, I gave you the long-winded question because I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and I go, it's funny. I'll get people in the comment section. They'll be like, "You talk like Dan Patrick, like you circle around the same topic, and you'll do it again twice just to make sure." Like he's like, "We get it." But hey, Dan Patrick, if I get compared to him, I mean, he's done a really nice job throughout his career with that. So I'll take that. That said, I feel like it's been some time that the focus on this game, it's still there, but summarizing kind of the offseason, going through, like the position by position, we don't have to spend too much time, but I think that's definitely the move. Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington. Obviously, we know Davante Adams, huge addition. We already talked about him, and we got a chance to talk about him before now. Because, of course, he was a Ram before all that. But Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington are expected to have bigger roles in the passing attack. And we could see Xavier Smith. We could see, 7th-round pick out of Pittsburgh, Konate Mumfield. Where are you on the wide receivers? Because I'll tell you right now, I think this is a really deep group. I think we're going to see X Smith in kind of a similar role to a Brandon Powell where, maybe on those end arounds, kind of the gadget option. I don't know how much Mumfield we see, but I think Whittington and Atwell are going to be splitting time, and it's going to be for the benefit of this team. If you need a jolt of energy off the bench, well, they both provide that. Atwell can beat you over the top. He has got great natural hands. Jordan Whittington is built in the mold of not really kind of the speedy, shorter receiver, slimmer receiver, but more like a Deebo Samuel before, of course, he fell off a cliff. So I actually think, Whittington and Atwell kind of complement each other really well. And the thing that's so fascinating is that because they had Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua couldn't really thrive as much as, say, if he was in the slot. I think we're going to see a lot of Puka Nacua in the slot. And I think that's only going to That's only going to open up more opportunities. God, that should not be that hard to say. But I'm excited for that. What are your thoughts, though, when it comes to Atwell and Whittington and just, the receiver room as a whole?
So you cut out there at the end, but I believe that you're asking me what my thoughts are on the wide receiver room as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's not a Downtown Rams episode without ghosts. We know this. So yeah, listen. Obviously, Davante Adams, Puka Nacua, wide receiver 1 and 2. People argue who is 1, who is 2. I don't think it matters. They're very different receivers. I think they're both going to have really, really good seasons. Tutu Atwell, if you guys can still hear me because everything just froze. Tutu Atwell got an extension in the offseason. It was a year, $10 million. It's a pretty big chunk of change for a receiver, right? I mean, it shows that they really value Tutu Atwell. They really value his skill set. I think we're going to see a lot more of him. In my mind, I think they view him as a wide receiver 3. However, Jordan Whittington has kind of that unique skill set, as you mentioned, kind of that Deebo Samuel-esque vibe, Swiss Army knife of a receiver. And so I really want to see more of him because I really liked what we saw from him last season. We didn't get to see him enough, in my opinion. So I think they're going to give him an expanded role. I've heard really, really good things about Mumfield out of training camp. So I'm really excited, to see him, but we are going to also see Xavier Smith. Like, I feel really good about the receiving room. I feel really good about our depth. That's always a really, really good position to have depth at because, your receiver goes down, never any good, right? So I feel really good. I thought that, preseason really showed us, especially Xavier Smith stock just skyrocketed. So I feel good. I think that in my mind, Tutu Atwell is wide receiver 3. I know that a lot of people are debating that on Twitter, so I just felt like I would just throw that out there. But I'm really, really excited, and I think that we're in a good spot. I think that in terms of depth, this is probably the deepest receiver room we've had in a while.
Yeah, and I mean, having that X receiver in Davante Adams, someone asked in the comment section earlier, where was this team scoring-wise in the red zone last year? They were 22nd. So you need some help there, and Davante is going to definitely do that. And
we touched on it earlier.
Yeah,
Who was the only guy who could score in the end zone last season?
I know. It's really it was Kyren Williams, and that was really it. That's why they kept giving it to him. People complained. Well, put in Blake Corum against the Packers, and we know what happened. So, just saying. Tight end. Tyler Higbee's back. We talked about that.
Yep.
Where are you on Terrence Ferguson? I think during the draft we were a little surprised that they went that route. I really wanted Harold Fannin Jr. And I think, was it Arroyo that you wanted? Who did you want?
A couple different guys that I wanted. I did want Aurora, who went to Seattle because, of course, every time I want a receiver or a tight end, they go to Seattle. I really like Ferguson. I'm not really sure how the Rams are going to utilize him, and I'm sorry, my voice is starting to go out. So if this is a very short answer, I apologize. I think that we are going to not see as much of him as people think, but I think that they're going to slowly but surely work him in. I think we're going to see a lot of Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson to start this game.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure because, Ferguson's injury could have held him back, and I like him a lot too. I just think, he was getting a decent amount of work with the ones, and then he goes down with that injury, and I feel like you can fall behind there. Davis Allen last year, he's interesting because he dealt with a back issue the whole year last year, so I think he'll be much more improved this year. It's a really good room. And speaking of really good room, offensive line is really good. Now, I had issues, and people saw me absolutely crash out on here on Twitter. I just freaking lost it because I was so pissed about them waiving injured Willie Lampkin. I
didn't like it.
That infuriated me. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. This offensive line looks really good. But one thing I will say is that right there, the tackles against Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, that's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
That is not going to be easy. Because, you think about it, right? Alec Jackson's really good. Good athlete, not the best athlete in the world, but good. Well, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, I believe Danielle Hunter's on the right side. Will Anderson will come off the left, and they'll probably rotate here and there. But one thing I can tell you is Rob Havenstein is really not the fastest tackle. And those kind of ultra athletic, edge defenders typically get the best of him. That matchup is brutal against Danielle Hunter. So he's going to have to step up. They might have to chip him. You can't really even do that because you have two guys that are so good. And that's really the important thing for the Texans. That is their big strength in this game. I think you look, obviously CJ Stroud, kind of a down year last year, a lot of injuries they went through, so I don't blame him entirely, but I think you look at a guy like Nico Collins who can blow up the game. You look at this secondary, and then that pass rush. It's not even the craziest pass rush ever. It's just the fact that those two guys are your starters. They're two of the best in the game. So what are your thoughts on the offensive line unit and how those tackles will fare against a Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter combination?
I feel good about the offensive line, but like you said, I think that the pass rush and that defensive front for the Texans I think that's going to be the key for them. So I don't know. I think in terms of our offensive line just as a whole for the season, I'm a little bit concerned about depth. As a Rams fan, I think we're all just very scared about offensive line depth. We had many, it wasn't really until the past few seasons I felt like we had any depth for a long time. So I think we're going to know right away, right? I think we're going to know first offensive drive, second offensive drive, how our tackles are holding up against guys like Will Anderson, right? I'm not concerned enough to be freaked out about it. I'll say that. I think we'll see.
No, I think that's definitely fair.
You notice I'm muting myself when I cough out of respect?
It's very nice
picking
of you.
up on that? It's very. I'm saying what I need to say just before I absolutely cough my lungs out. Mute. Love technology.
Yeah, you're good at that. I always forget. So You're
It's
one
like
upping me there.
it's like when we do our draft stream and we have pizza, I mute. I don't like
Oh,
people hearing me eat.
also bad at that.
Mute.
Mukbang Central. It is what it is. Defensive line.
Hmm.
I just feel so good about this unit.
Me too.
I was bummed. Obviously, a friend of mine, Bobby Brown, bummed to see him leave. Wishing him the best of luck in Carolina, and I do believe they have a great looking stuff there. I mean, Derek Brown, him, and former Ram Ashawn Robinson. But the Rams defensive line, like I saw earlier in the year, and his name is totally blanking on me right now for CBS. But he said,
Broadcaster?
it wasn't CBS. It was, I want to say it was NBC.
Like a
One of the analysts, Albert Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback, I believe. Albert Breer said he believes this is maybe the best defensive line in the NFL. So I guess I'll just ask you that. I mean, do you think this is the best defensive line in the NFL?
I think it's certainly up there. I mean, you look at what they did last season. You look at just who our rookies were last season: Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, incredible. You now add Poona Ford. I mean, we had Kobe Turner in there as well, Byron Young. Um, you rotate in Murchison, Davis, but then you've got rookies Stewart, Hamilton. It's up there.
Yeah. No, it's definitely there. And then I'm excited to see how they use Desjuan Johnson because I've been hearing they're going to use him, on the edge. So I'm excited to see that. The offensive line for the Texans, you're a big offensive line person. I'm big on offensive
Love
line.
it. Love them.
Well, I don't love the Texans offensive line at all.
Neither do I. But you know what? This works to our benefit.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I think that's going to be a real opportunity. We just talk about, the Rams defensive front. Or sorry, let me backtrack. We talk about how for the Texans, I think a make it or break it thing for them is going to be how their defensive line plays against our offensive line. Like their bread and butter, I think, is going to be there. I think that very well could be the same for the Rams because the Texans' offensive line, not very good. I mean, in my opinion, your opinion as well. They got, their rookie left tackle. We'll see how he fares. But then you've got like Laken Tomlinson, Jake Andrews, Ed Ingram, Titus Howard. I'm not psyched about that for them. And then we just talked about how our defensive front is just insane. Like this could get out of hand very quickly if our defensive line plays as well as I think they could play.
Yeah. And I mean, let's just go from right to left. Titus Howard, right? So his thing is that he was a tackle that they converted to guard. Then they moved back to tackle. Then they moved him back to guard, and now he's back at tackle. I don't like that from a football fan perspective. For a Rams fan, well, that's a really good spot to be in. Now, the interesting thing here is then you have Laken Tomlinson, although I'm not going right to left, I guess, there by bringing up Laken Tomlinson. But no, Ed Ingram we'll start with here, right guard. He's a backup. He's not a starting caliber player right now, in my opinion. Maybe starter and waiting, but I wouldn't start him. They have to. He's what they have. Then at center, Jake Andrews, the offensive line coach, is from Troy, which is where Jake Andrews went to school. So, I don't think it's hard to see that, maybe some maybe some favoritism went into that. Going with him over Patterson, I was a little surprised by that. Thought Patterson would have won the job, but again. So then you have that. Laken Tomlinson was overpaid with the Jets, and he's just not the same player that he was with the 49ers. So I just think that's a huge hole. And then left tackle, you got Ariante Ursary, who, as you know, I loved him in the draft, but I loved Ariante Ursary as a guy that would take some time to develop, but I think he could have a massive ceiling. Throwing him in there in the fire against Jared Verse, I don't know about that one. So I think this is a huge opportunity for the Rams. I love what they have. I think Jared Verse was, Ariante Ursary is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Like I mentioned, I think we're going to see Desjuan Johnson getting some edge reps in rotation with rookie Josiah Stewart, who, fun fact, switched his number to Cooper Kupp's 10. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, personally, I thought 41 was kind of dope, and I also just kind of wish Cooper Kupp's number would just stay, uninhabited. Yeah. But I understand it's number 10. Like that's a good number. So, yeah,
that was my number for most of my career. I don't know. I have an unpopular opinion just about the new jersey number rules that we won't get into. I've gotten into it on the show before. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see this defense in general this season. I think that our defense is going to be really good, but particularly against, offensive lines like this, I think it could be very fun. Jake, let's talk about the linebacking room.
Yeah.
Because we have a new leader at linebacker.
I'm excited.
Landman.
I am excited for Nate Landman.
I am as well, and it looks like it's going to be Landman and Spates as a starter. So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think what they did in the offseason is they said, look, we need to get better defending the run. That's what we need to do. So they go out and they get Poona Ford, who we didn't really talk too much about, but Poona Ford is part of that defensive line. Poona Ford is fantastic against the run, but you know who else is fantastic against the run? Nathan Landman. Absolutely love the pickup of him. I think he is going to be one of those guys. I keep saying his name, and I hate doing this because it's hyperbolic, but it's just my feeling, man. I look at last year's Zach Bond. First, 1 year deal, about $4 million, cheap deal, right? Eagles get him for nothing. He goes on to have what I believe, and it's nothing against Patrick Surtain, and honestly, it's hard as hell to win Defensive Player of the Year as a corner, so you got to give him credit. But Defensive Player of the Year probably should have gone to the man in the middle on the Super Bowl winning team, and that would have been Zach Bond. And it's just kind of a reminder, like these 1 year deals, these guys that just kind of come out of nowhere, well, they can play. And Landman has forced 6 fumbles the last 2 years. He's a team captain for this team. Now, that's saying something. This team's been in the playoffs back-to-back seasons. They're one of the better organizations in the sport going back to 2017. So to see this guy just claiming the captain C patch on his chest this quickly, it speaks volumes to the type of player and person that they're getting and bringing into that locker room. And I cannot wait to see number 53 work.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the linebacking core as well against the run, like you said, particularly. I mean, that's an issue that the Rams knew they needed to address. But moving on from the linebacking core to the safety room, Jake, obviously we've got Cam Curl coming back, Quentin Lake, Cam Kinchins is going to rotate in. It sounds like the star role, and you know more about this than I do. There's going to be a rotation between Lake and Josh Wallace. So
yeah.
Curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Man, what I keep hearing about Josh Wallace is the Rams think they have a gem in this one. Okay. And he's wearing Todd Gurley's 30. Okay. So he needs to be good if he's going to rock 30. But the things that I hear about Josh Wallace is like, this guy can ball, and they really like him. And yeah, it's interesting because he only played safety, and that, the star role, which I guess could be called safety, whatever. He only played safety in preseason. He wasn't out there at corner. So, it was kind of hard to figure out, like, and then the things I was hearing about him, I was like, oh, they're keeping him. There's no way he doesn't make this team. UDFA out of Michigan, they are absolutely over the moon about him. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's going to have more of it's not an extended role, because last year, like, he had a decent role. He made the team right from UDFA, but it's a more, I guess, focused role. Like, he knows what his role is now. He is going to be that rotational star piece with Quentin Lake. And think about this, Alexis, when you have the star and it's Quentin Lake, well, now Cam Kinchins and Cam Curl can be on the field at the same time, or Cam and Tank can be on the field at the same time. But when you have Quentin Lake as a safety, well, now Josh Wallace is at star. So there are different looks that they're going to provide the Rams, these two just in general. And that's why the star role is so important. So we're going to see that. And, of course, we'll see in that, front or that lineup, that package, if you will. When they line up in that, we're going to see one linebacker, and that's going to be interesting. Do they rotate Landman? Do they rotate Omar Spates? Do they just go with one of them typically, in those nickel and dime packages? I mean, that's something we're going to find out, but I'm really excited for just how many different looks this team can kind of give you, because you have on one hand, you have, Jalen McCullough, Tank McCullough as they're calling him. And, he's wearing number 2 now, by the way. So, if you probably don't even remember his number last year, but I think it was 39, but I don't even remember it. But he's wearing number 2, and Sean McVay was open. He said he's going to have a huge role this year. So a much bigger role for Tank McCullough. They're going to find ways to get these guys involved. I think the Rams have so much depth, and they realize this, that they're like really open to rotations this year. I think we're going to see a lot of rotations, not just the defensive line, but I think a lot of the corners are going to rotate, and we'll get into that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing. And Josh Wallace, I want to, I'm a big show me, don't tell me guy. It's why I love that they call Missouri the show me state. I love that. That kind of resonates with me. But man, I do need to see it. I'm just excited what I'm hearing about Josh Wallace.
Well, this is a good segue into the cornerbacks, because that's what I wanted to talk about next. And I particularly wanted to talk about the idea that we could see some rotating quarterbacks, which you did just kind of briefly touch on. So, you look at the cornerback room, you've got, Kello and Emmanuel Forbes, Kobe Durant, Darius Williams. And from what we've talked about, I believe that there is an idea around that these could be rotating starting cornerbacks, that no matter who is starting out at corner, they're not going to be playing a quote-unquote starter share of the game. The Rams really like all 4 of those guys. They want them all seeing a lot of action. Jake, does that sound correct to you? Do you think that there might be, a lead corner in that room that maybe we're not all seeing or picking up on? Or, what is the vibe coming from that corner room? Because from what I can tell, it sounds like there's 4 guys that the Rams are going to split playing time with.
Yeah, you got that right. They feel very good about their cornerback room. Don't rule out AJ Green, who's on the practice squad, getting called up to this roster if they need help. But yeah, they really like this cornerback room. It's why Darion Kendrick, who started games for this team, it's why Charles Woods, who made last year's 53-man roster, did not make this one. This was tough. Emmanuel Forbes really has taken another step in the offseason during training camp, and he has won a job next to Ahkello Witherspoon. Now, again, you had mentioned, and you're absolutely right, they're going to be rotating, and you're going to see Kobe Durant and Darius Williams, and I'm told Darius Williams is CB4, and yeah, he might be getting paid the most, but these guys have surpassed him, at least on the depth chart. Now, my biggest thing is this. This is just to start the season, Alexis. We're going to find out. Because I think, obviously, it's all fine and dandy having a rotation and everything, but eventually guys just show you what they are. And if Ahkello Witherspoon and Emmanuel Forbes Jr. are just killing it, at corner, they're just going to start the majority of the game. And I still don't feel like the rotation is going to be like brutal. Like, people are probably thinking, oh no, like you're going to constantly have them coming in and out. No, it's not each play. It would be more so they're going to have the first 2 series, then the next 2 series go to and then, so forth. And I kind of like it. I kind of don't. I'm also just very curious to see how it's utilized. My biggest thing, though, is I don't think that's going to be a thing over the course of the season. I think they're starting off with that. And then whoever ends up winning the job is going to have the job. I think, really they kind of want to keep Kobe Durant out of the star position. They want to really play him on the outside. Same with Darius Williams. And so because of that, you're really just looking at 2 starting corners. They're not trying to have all 3 of them on the field at the same time. Doesn't mean that they won't. Doesn't mean that they won't occasionally have a package set up for that. But I would suspect they're going to go with Lake, and they're going to go with Josh Wallace in those roles. So we'll see, but man, I really love their secondary, Alexis. I think they have so many, again, it's the looks. They have so many different ways that they can just line up against an offense. They can create some problems, I think.
Well, I want to get into specifics about the Texans now because we've kind of covered the team, but I really want to get into this matchup for Sunday, this season opener, Jake. So, you know what? If we want to start with the Texans offense, right? You've obviously got CJ Stroud, who had an incredible rookie season, had a sophomore slump, right? Now everybody's kind of wondering what's going to happen with CJ Stroud. What's he going to look like? You know, you look at his receivers. Nico Collins, obviously very, very talented. He's got Christian Kirk, who will not be playing Sunday. Spoiler. They've already announced that Christian Kirk, he won't be playing, right? They said for sure.
Yeah, no, he's out, and then Joe Mixon's on the IR.
Yeah, and Joe Mixon's on the IR. But they've got two rookie receivers, Jake, that you and I both loved from Iowa State, and the Texans took both of them, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Crazy, but I did love that they ended up on the same team. But they're rookies. We don't know what's going to happen there. Dalton Schultz, obviously veteran tight end. We talked about their offensive line already. Jake, what do you think the Texans are going to try to do offensively against this Rams team? And what do you think in response our defense should do to shut them down?
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought this up. I saw earlier 4-man rush in the comments section. Yeah, I'm not blitzing this team, and here's why. Because CJ Stroud is a smart, competent quarterback. If you can't get through with 4, he's going to dump it off. He's going to get rid of the ball quickly. And so because of that, and the reason why I say 4 is because I want only 4 rushing. If I have 4 rushing, well, now my linebackers, right? My corners, my safeties are in position to make a quick decision, click and close, and finish the play. Whereas if I'm doing safety blitzes and getting all creative, well, now CJ Stroud can throw to a spot. Nobody is going to be there, right? So I think that's a big thing in this game. When you look at how do you beat the Houston Texans and how do you beat the LA Rams, well, it starts with the Texans offense. You don't have Joe Mixon. You don't have Christian Kirk. So how are you going to attack the Rams defense when they have so a good defensive front? Their linebackers, while we're excited about them, technically the outside looking in would probably say, Nathan Landman, that's cool and all, but I'm not quaking in my boots. That's not Fred Warner, right? So they're going to probably try and expose Nathan Landman, who has struggled in coverage throughout his career. So if you can get him one-on-one with a Dalton Schultz, you're in for an interesting, matchup there. And then just the idea of you get rid of the ball quickly and it nullifies a dominant pass rush. And now if your dominant pass rush is getting nullified, well, now corners can't cover as long, and that's a good thing. They don't have to cover as long, but now they have to go and tackle. Now you are forcing, it's like in baseball, you hit the ball in play, you make guys play defense. Instead of swinging and missing, you're actually putting the ball in play. Well, now someone has to go and do their job. It's no different. When you're not getting home and they're getting rid of the ball quickly and you're doing your job as a cover corner, but now you have to come up and play the run. And that is where you can get exposed. And the Rams last year, they had some brutal missed tackles. So this is a big one. I think they're in a really good position. The Texans offensive line is that shaky where I don't think they're going to get rid of the ball that quickly every single play. But I do suspect that the start of it, and I think this game is going to be eerily similar to the year they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the New England Patriots against the Raiders. They go into that game against the Raiders, immediately Derek Carr just gets rid of the ball quick, right? He knows the pressure's coming. He knows how good the Rams defensive line is. He respects that. And so Derek Carr and the Raiders game plan was to just pepper them over the middle to the flat with these quick screens, these quick slants, these quick game. And the quick game was working until it wasn't. And when the Rams put pressure, and this is where you got to play complementary football. When the Rams put pressure on the Raiders was when they were scoring points And now the Raiders are like, we're running out of time. We can't just dink and dunk our way to win this game. If they're putting up touchdowns and we're only kicking field goals, that's what's going to happen. So for everything in the NFL, there's a give, there's a take, there's a pro, there's a con. You can sit there and just constantly get rid of the ball quickly and be like, well, nobody sacked us, so we're good, right? This is good. We didn't give up a sack. Yeah, it's all fine and dandy, but if you're not getting first downs and you're kicking field goals and you're punting and the other team's scoring touchdowns, well, you actually, congrats, you didn't get sacked, but you weren't really effective. So, Alexis, that's really what I'm looking at in this one is you see a Texans offensive line that's shaky. You see a Nick Chubb. What is Nick Chubb in 2025, right? He's going to start, but you have other guys like Dare Agumbawale. You have Woody Marks, the impressive rookie. I think he's going to be utilized in the passing game. I expect him to have a good game. But, and you mentioned Dalton Schultz. That's like Mr. Reliable over the middle to, just move the chains. But I really feel like the Rams, they're going to get pressure. They're going to get through this offensive line. And then I think what's really going to shine is how much better this team is tackling. When they try the quick game, they're not going to have success. I think Landman has we'll save it for the predictions part, but I think Landman's going to have a huge game. He can tackle, man, and he can force fumbles too.
Well, I agree with everything you said about the game plan from both sides. And real quick, comment in the chat said Akello has a knee injury. Is this true? I totally read that as Alexis. And I
Do you have a knee injury?
Do I? I have in the past, but
yeah,
I don't. Right now, I'm just deeply ill with bronchitis, but not my knee. But I
you have a soul
chat.
Injury. Okay, we got you.
I have a soul, and yeah, let's not unpack all my trauma right now. But yes, I have a soul injury. Akello did have a knee injury, but he will be playing Sunday. To answer your question, and I do not have a knee injury. For anyone wondering,
that's good.
So Jake, looking then at the Texans defense, right? We look at our offensive game plan. We already talked about, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter. They got Mario Edwards, Sheldon Rankins in the interior. They got some talented guys, in the backfield. CJ Gardner-Johnson, who is he injured? Or am I making that up in my mind right now?
I think he was banged up, but I do think he's going to play.
Okay, I think that that makes sense. Derek Stingley Jr., Kalen Bullock. I mean, looking at this defense, Jake, and kind of looking at, our offensive game plan, what do you think the Rams are going to do?
Yeah, I think on the offensive side, you're going to run the football. And you're going to establish the run, and then you're going to be able to use play action. And I understand it's easier said than done, but I actually don't think that. I think Kyren Williams is going to have a huge game. And keep in mind, we started this off, the title of this live stream was, is Kyren Williams set for a huge game versus Texans? Yes, he is. He's set for a huge game. Not only is he incredibly talented, he's got great vision, he's got quick twitch, ability, but this Texans defensive line doesn't impress me in the run game. It just doesn't. And they didn't add a ton. They brought in Rankins, but I think the body, the real, when you talk about the overall, the biggest thing about the Rams offensive line is that they're built to run the football. They have a lot of beef up front. They're not as beefy as the start of last year, but we found out Jonah Jackson doesn't quite fit this team, so that's fine. Insert Coleman Shelton, but you still got Steve Avila at left guard, and then at right guard you got Kevin Dotson, who, man, Kevin Dotson is a top 5 guard in this sport. I have no issue saying I think he is an absolute freak show, and I just think Kyren, he's so quick to see the hole. I mean, we saw with Cam Akers, and Darrell Henderson, and then you have Kyren Williams, and it's like, Darrell Henderson was so much better than Cam Akers at finding the hole, and I think Kyron's better than Darrell was, and Darrell was really good. And just that level of just, it's not even, it's an instinct. It's like, oh, see hole, hit the hole, right? not run into the offensive line's back. And so I think Kyren's going to have a lot of success, which then right after that, now it opens up play action. Now you can go deep down the field. Now you can use a 2-2 out will, streaking over the middle of the field or, off to the side. And now it opens up the underneath game. So really everything, there's so many cogs to this offense. And I think in order for you to activate everything, you got to establish Kyren Williams early on. The big thing is this. Once you establish a running game, now you can use play action passing the rest of the game. You've now established it. You don't have to, you're good. They're going to respect the run game now. They're going to respect play action. If you don't run the football and you're faking that you're going to run the football, guess what? No one is going to believe you. You ran the ball 6 times in a game, and when you're going to hit me with that play action nonsense, no way. I don't believe you. Right? I don't believe you. Like that whole thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the Rams are going to come out. I think they're going to try to establish the run game. Again, I'm curious how they're going to do that. Are they going to come out right away with just Kyren? Are they going to try to get Corum or maybe even Hunter in there early? Not entirely sure. But I think that's how you test this Texans defense. But I do think that there is going to be a lot of, usage of Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua in this game as well. I think that,
yes,
but we are in for, maybe it'll start in the second half, but it is going to potentially get really fun. I think, because I just think they're going to wear this Texans defense down. I don't think this Texans defense is built particularly for an offense like the Rams. If the Rams are firing on all cylinders, which I believe they will be, I think they're going to surprise people. I think they're going to come out really hot.
I agree. I think they are too. I think this is going to look just like the Bears game in 2021. Matthew Stafford, I just watched that game the other day. Matthew Stafford, you see it. First play of the game, hands it off. You get 6 for Darrell Henderson. Next play is a quick slant to Tyler Higbee. You pick up a first down. After that, the infamous bootleg, fake, play action, roll to the left, set your feet, defender right in your face, launch an absolute dime to Van Jefferson, have him fall down, then get back up and ramble it in for the touchdown. I'm telling you, those 3 plays, Alexis, I felt like and I told you this, when they got Stafford, I was like, they're winning the Super Bowl. But those 3 plays, I never felt more confirmed on my thoughts than ever before. I was like, you're watching this, and I remember talking to my father about this because, he would tell me, like, the greatest show on turf, you could see it. Like, that first game, you're like, okay, Warner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things you could feel how special it was. That game against the Bears, those first 3 plays, and mind you, that came off the back of an interception, a tip drill by Kenny Young to David Long. So they had just gotten a turnover, and then on that end, they go down and they score in 3 plays. You just felt the dynamism. I think that's back. And again, I really don't mean to be offensive. I really don't mean to act ungrateful because I love Cooper Kupp, but he just wasn't Cooper Kupp after 2022. Because I will tell you, after the Super Bowl, he was still him, right? Still him. Then he gets the injury, and I think that tightrope surgery, it was just a lot to overcome. Still a good, wide receiver in this league, still a potential 1,000-yard receiver in Seattle, but 1,000-yard receiver Cooper Kupp versus a guy that everyone at night is losing sleep over trying to game plan to defend him. That is what the Rams have been missing. So now you add Devontae Adams, who I will tell you has not lost a step, and anyone that tells you such is absolutely kidding themselves. I agree. I think they're going to come out firing. I think it's going to start with Kyren. They're going to establish that run, and Stafford's going to throw 30 to 40 passes in this game, and we're going to be really excited watching him because they have so many different ways to beat you over the head. We talk about the deep ball with Atwell. We talk about the gadget opportunities and what you could do in the slot with a Jordan Whittington. We also saw Jordan Whittington make a guy miss and make him look foolish against Seattle last year with the double move. So we know he can work on the outside too. Same thing with Puka Nacua, but now you can get Puka Nacua underneath. He's great after the catch. Whittington's great after the catch. Devontae Adams is going to be amazing in the red zone. It really improves what we already talked about was the 22nd red zone offense. I'm absolutely ecstatic to watch this offense.
Well, let's get into our predictions because you just said some, and I think I said some earlier as well. So, as a reminder to everybody, at the end of the episode, Jake and I each give three like fun, bold predictions that we think are going to happen this game, and then we talk about then we give a score prediction with who we think is going to win. So Jake, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
So we'll have some fun with this. Of course, today's sponsor is Sleeper, and we really do appreciate Sleeper for sponsoring the channel. I love Sleeper. Literally all of my fantasy leagues are through Sleeper. Absolutely love it. And we get this little nifty graphic here. So absolutely love it. I don't know how technology has advanced this much where I could literally hover over my cell phone on my computer now. This is pretty cool. Be sure, okay, if you haven't already, the link is in the description. Be sure to sign up with Sleeper. Use my code JKB, and you're going to get $100 match on your first deposit. And right here, we're starting things off. By the way, freebie for JJ McCarthy. I feel really good about Papa Don's Bears, but I don't know about you. JJ McCarthy is going to throw at least 1 yard in this game. At least.
I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable.
I think so. So we'll put that there. CJ Stroud, Matthew Stafford. Alexis, what do you like here?
Let me try to see this. I like Stafford. I do.
I like Stafford to throw more than 234.5 yards. Stroud, I'm unsure because I think there's going to be a lot of quick passing. I like his completions more, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what they are, like off the top of my head. But I do like his completions more. Okay, we move on to rushing yards. Kyren Williams, I am slamming this more. What about you?
Yep. More. 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. More.
Are we staying away from these? I kind of like this one. I kind of like that. I don't love this. This feels like
I don't
trap.
feel good about the Texans running game. That does feel like a trap.
It just feels like a trap. It's like they know something that I don't know. And I don't know. I'm going to just stick with old reliable here. Receiving yards is different because I'm definitely feeling good about this one right here. Dalton Schultz, he's going to move the chains. They're going to get rid of the ball quickly. I really like Dalton Schultz in this game. I totally could see Nico Collins having more here. Not really sure. Devontae Adams is going to have more. He's going to have at least 60 yards.
Yeah. That seems low to me.
Puka at 73.5. That's...
It's tough because it's Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
It feels silly to underestimate. You know what I mean?
It does.
But then at the same time, it's it does everything that we just talked about. I don't know.
All those weapons.
Yeah. I would probably pass on that. It's just out as precaution.
I like this one right here. We really don't think Tutu Atwell's going to get to 25 yards?
I think that's more.
Higbee's interesting. I want to say yeah, but let's see what's hot. So what's hot right now, like the anytime touchdowns, obviously Kyren Williams had plenty of touch. He's had over 30 the last 2 years. It's tied for the most in the league with Jahmyr Gibbs. So I kind of feel like Collins is going to score. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. One thing I will say, I kind of like the Cam Curl solo tackles. Let's do one more. We have to do one Texan one, I guess. Oh, no, we already did one. Yeah, it's tough. I could see a few different things. I'm going to go with Nico Collins touchdown. What do you think about that? Oh, you don't like it.
I, yeah, no, I mean, I'm trying to think of all the Texans touchdown because we already did a Schultz prop. So I would say, yeah, because I don't think you can pair touchdown plus yards, right? For same player.
Yeah, no, you're right on that. You cannot. There's some alts here. So, Puka Nacua receptions we can do. 5+. You gotta stick with 5?
More. Mm-hmm.
6.
That feels good.
Okay. And then let's see what we got. All right. Yeah, that's good. I think that's good.
Solid.
So, just so you guys know what we just did, we have JJ McCarthy free pick. If he doesn't get a yard, he's dead to me. Matthew Stafford, he just needs to throw 235. Kyren Williams just needs 70. Dalton Schultz needs 30. Adams with 60. Atwell with 25. And Puka Nacua with 6 receptions. If you put $10 on this thing and you hit this, you will win $374.80. So, like I said, get in on the action with Sleeper and use the code JKB. And we're going to continue our predictions because there are some predictions we can't even pick on here. So, shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the video. Again, JKB, 100% match. And Alexis, I don't think I'm going to be as bold as I was at times last year. You had me predicting blocked field goals. Like I was off my rocker last year. Just totally off my rocker. So I'm not going to do anything crazy like that unless I'm really feeling it. I wake up and I'm like, Alexis, we need to talk. I think there's going to be a block punt. Like you kind of just know when something like that's going to happen. I am going to say this. I think Kyren goes for 150 total yards, and I think he ends up with at least 1 touchdown, and I think he could have 2. But I'm going to say the big thing is he has 150 total yards because I do think he's going to be utilized in the passing game. Rejoice.
I love it. I mean, I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns. I think that the Rams are going to be, listen, they want to score. He was Mr. Reliable last season in the red zone. I know they've got some new weapons, but first game of the season, you're probably going to stick with what you know, not get too crazy, especially early on in the game. So I think we're going to see my offensive prediction, I'll say 2 Kyren Williams touchdowns. I'll give a defensive prediction as well, because we talked earlier about how our defensive line has a big opportunity to feast against this Texans offensive line. I think we're going to see 4 sacks or more from the Rams on Sunday. Like, I really feel confident. I think that these guys are hungry. I think that this Texans offensive line is weak. And I think that, I think we could see Sack City from the Rams potentially in this season opener. Third prediction, because we always do 3. What would be a fun one? I don't know. I want to say like Matthew Stafford sneaks it in, but that feels so unlikely. I don't know why my gut was telling me that. What about you?
That would be the Rams. Oh yeah, we're so worried about the back, but then you sneak them in. I remember they did that with Sam Bradford. They're like, yeah, he's dealing with a shoulder, and then he did a QB sneak and got like bent in half, and I'm like, they did not just do that. Yeah. So is that what you're going with?
Someone in the chat said Mumpfield kick return for a touchdown. That would be fun. I don't know that I'm going to go that bold, but we'll remember that you did if it happens for sure. That is
true. That is true.
What if I said like Blake Corum touchdown too?
I mean, that's pretty bold.
Dude, I don't know if they're going to use him in the red zone. Let's do it. I don't know. Let's just let's just let's do that. What about
Is
you?
Mumfield the returner? Because I had Jordan Whittington as kick returner and Xavier Smith as punt returner in my notes.
That's what I have as well.
So I mean,
and that's what also was on our lads and the Rams. So that's why I think it's right. We want to do score.
Oh, I still got 2.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's
right. I went with Kyren, 150. Give me Devontae Adams, 2 touchdowns. Probably have 100 yards, but we'll just go with the 2 touchdowns. And then, last but not least, Nathan Landman makes his Rams debut, 15-plus tackles.
Hell yeah.
I think I'm really excited for 53. So we shall see if we're right. Score predictions. You go first, Alexis.
All right. Well, I think the Rams are going to win. I think they're going to win the season opener at SoFi. I think that they're going to win 28-10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel confident.
I'm very confident in this game.
Yeah.
I got 30-20. You got an 18-point win. I only got a 10-point win, and I'm confident. So
yeah.
That's yeah. But you have 28-10, right? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean they averaged 28 to 30 points a game this year, and they're gonna win a lot of football games. This is I love this this matchup. These two teams kind of polar opposite in a sense and similar at the same time. So I don't know if you knew this or remember this because it's been a while. The Rams and Texans lost in the divisional round. So they're like the mirror image of each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was what the NFL had in mind when they put them together, but yeah, you know, the Texans lost by 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs, who apparently I have not seen any of the game. I'm going to rewatch it later tonight, but I see in the comment section they're washed. So I guess things aren't going well there.
Well, Xavier Worthy got hurt like first drive of the game or something. I'm like, great.
Oh, really?
Starting in 2 weeks. Yeah. So, and he's out for the rest of the game.
Is he like good? Like, do you think they're just keeping him out? Like,
I don't know. I haven't been able to look into it. I just like briefly saw the notification and I was like, great. But hope he's okay. Like, of course, obviously.
Yeah. No, definitely.
He's a really good receiver for them as well.
I think he's their number 1.
Yeah. But Jake, we both have the Rams winning. We both gave our predictions. We did it.
We did it. And we have supers.
We're back.
So.
Ooh, let's see him.
So we got SoCal. Appreciate you being a member for 28 months.
Thank you, SoCal.
Appreciate you. Ruiz, thank you for the 2. Rooting for Kyren now. Hope he breaks 2K 20 touchdowns. Oh, man. Dude, if Kyren Williams wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, this is going to be the most insufferable podcast.
Yeah. Offensive player.
Oh, offensive player, yeah. Good. Yeah. Thank you. I don't even know why I said there's no Rookie of the Year in my face. Why did I say that?
I just knew if I didn't correct you and you heard it later, you'd be mad I didn't.
No, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm very glad.
But no, I hope he has a killer season too. That'd be crazy.
SoCal, we appreciate the 5. Hope he doesn't fumble. Look at what happened at Cowboys game last night and how crucial it can be. It's true. Then again, Kyren Williams, I need an adjective other than astronomical because I've been using astronomical every single time. I think you know where I'm going with this. Kyren Williams is way freaking better, way better than Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
I would need another adjective. People are tired of me saying astronomical.
He's light years. I don't know. I don't like that either. That feels weak.
Yeah, no, I need... It's nothing against him personally. I don't know Miles Sanders. I watch the guys and I'm like, yeah, Miles Sanders is a running back. Kyren Williams is one of the better running backs. So there's a slight difference there. But no, appreciate the super chat, SoCal. I think again, But the point does stand, and I get what you're saying. I mean, 24-20, they absolutely could have won that game. Ruiz, member for 41 months. We appreciate you.
Yep.
And the can, thank you for the 20. Canadian. Maybe Cup just wanted to go home to Washington, so he stopped playing last year. That is brutal. No, I think, I'm going to be very fair here. I think Cooper Kupp has lost a step. And I think the dude works harder than just about anybody. And the thing about Kupp is that when I say Adams is an upgrade, like significant upgrade, it's who Kupp is now. But you know who Kupp also is now? A guy that's going to get the most out of your wide receiver room. I will tell you this. Jordan Whittington is a way better player right now than he would have been with a full season without Cooper Kupp. And so is Tutu Atwell. Way better receiver right now than where he would be without Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua. I mean, the list kind of goes on. That's why, like, I look at guys like a Torrey Horton and JSN and Jake Bobo, right? And I'm like, these are guys that are going to hugely benefit from having Cooper Kupp in the building. That work ethic, the leadership, he is awesome.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
He's all class.
He's all class. He's exactly what you want. He's a leader. It's just, unfortunately, he's not giving you the output. And guess what? If Cooper Kupp cost $5 million, he's a Ram this year. Absolutely. There would have been no reason for them to get rid of him. $26 million, it's a lot of money. So, yeah, that's really what it came down to. But obviously, we love Cooper Kupp, and I'm still rooting for him in Seattle. I mean, you know, I don't have to root for Seattle to win games, but I want Cooper Kupp to have 1,000 yards and look really good. I mean, I still wanted him back. It was hard for me. I definitely found it hard, but, you know, either way, that is that. So all the super chats are done. Again, special shout to Sleeper for sponsoring. And do you have any final thoughts, Alexis?
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for, waiting for us and rocking with us. And I appreciate all the messages that everybody sent during the hiatus and how understanding people were. And, it bummed me out to not be doing Downtown Rams, the normal schedule that we have over the summer and during the preseason. But I was doing really, really exciting things, big things that I was excited about, and that just took up a lot of my time. So, now that we're back to normal, I'm excited to talk to you guys every week. Thank you guys for waiting. And Jake, it's fun. Now we get to have our Monday and Friday night live episodes, and football's back, and it feels like all is right in the world. And guys, this is our 7th season. That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
Football's back. Back again. I'm so glad.
Guess who's back? Guess who's... We couldn't start... Yeah, I mean, we started the episode last season with Guess Who's Back, right?
Yeah.
Or, well, it's technically, I think, called Without Me by Eminem.
So we finished with Guess Who's Back, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, it's a full circle. And you know what? Notice how our episode started with tech issues and now we don't have any. It's because the ghosts, they wanted to screw with us. I knew it would happen.
It's true.
And now we're fine.
Well, guys, it's been a blast talking with you. We'll be here Monday. We'll be here Friday. Looking forward to it. We'll be recapping hopefully a Rams victory against the Houston Texans on Monday, and then we'll be previewing hopefully an upcoming victory against the Tennessee Titans, the first road game of the year. And actually, Alexis, they get this home game, and then they got 2 on the road, one against the Titans, and then the next one is against the Philadelphia Eagles to try and avenge their brutal loss in the divisional round 14 yards away that I'm still not over. So,
well, on that note, as always, stay safe, take care, and go Rams.